It's been a couple of weeks now and the stairlift is working fine. However, I didn't show in the last video that it being put back together again. There are a few little things, minor points that may be of interest to people, and hence this video. One of them is fixing the limit switch, which operates when you swivel off, the up and down position. It switches this little light on here off. So basically disconnects the stair lift from operating, so that you can sort of get in and out safely, and only comes back on when you get into the correct position for going down. And it's just a safety measure. It sits underneath the seat just about here, and when I first took one of these apart, I broke it. I'll tell you why I broke it, how I broke it, and how to avoid breaking it in this video. So that might be of use to somebody. About the design of these stairlift, I think it's fairly old, in that the person who was responsible for the original design probably grew up with Meccano, which is evident by the number of screws that you have to undo to get the covers off. Now, undoing screws takes time, and can you imagine that going on your repair bill if when you have it maintained or serviced or whatever? Just think of how expensive it is for having a qualified engineer undo a screw. In my book, if you can't get the covers off in about 10 minutes, you think again. You've got to design these things to be maintained, and this, in my opinion, isn't. There's a big danger when you're removing the seat, and the pivot pin is sort of off centre, so it's not central to the seat, it's over to one side, so the seat sort of pivots asymmetrically around one point. Well, when you take that pin out, the seat will sort of topple, and if you're not ready for it, and bearing in mind you're doing most of this work at the top of the stairs, it could end up down the bottom of the stairs and doing a lot of damage. And you've got to be ready to sort of catch it, and it's fairly weighty. And that can prove a problem to some of us, especially if you're not looking for it. There are some issues I have with it about the design. One of them is the roller bearings, the two bearings that are sort of run alongside the rack. The clearance between there and the rack is minimal, and they just ground the head off of the pivot bolt of the roller bearing to sort of give it the clearance it needed. All the other bolts for the bearings are exactly the same, so you've got 10 bolts the same and 2 that have been specially ground down to fit. That smacks of bad design, and I think that somebody somewhere made an error in their measurements to start with when they designed the original stairlift, and it's a pretty poor solution. Very, very difficult to keep the spanner on the back of that nut because it's so thin. There's another problem, it's the screws. There are 2 screws that are impossible to get out without anything other than a crank screwdriver. And although I could quite easily design that problem out, I think that it's a bit of a waste of time, really. I mean, a stairlift is 25, 26 years old and no longer made. What's the point of modifying it? But you'll need a crank screwdriver to get at those screws. Annoying. And that just smacks of poor design. It says, oh, let's get it designed and working and we'll sell it and make money and sod the consequences, which is the wrong attitude. Right, it's time for me to get on with the rest of the day, so it's goodbye from me. Does it work? You bet it works. Bye. before I put this one back on, I'm actually going to put it back onto the rail, because it just gives me a bit more wiggle room, and sometimes you need a bit of wiggle room. Keep this as flat as possible because the rollers are at an angle that I'm going to put in, and if this is horizontal, I know that the angle's right when I slide it on down on the floor. Perhaps you'll see what I mean by enough strength. Oh, I'm lucky. I don't think I damaged anything. Now, I'd suggest rolling the back on a few turns before we put the bearings on. The clearance of this bearing and the rack that's in there is so small, and you notice that there was two spacer washers there in there. One was a sort of just a standard washer and the other one was a dedicated spacer. I feel that they even got that wrong when I made this, because the edge of the wheel without that washer would be coming over the edge of this flange, and so I suspect that where all this went wrong was that somebody got the extrusion wrong and this channel too far this way, and everything after that was a bit of a bodge to cover up a big mistake. Right. Don't know which one I've got. Oh, that's it. Put this in. Now you see that you probably can't see it, but the clearance here, there isn't any. But as I do this nut up, the clearance will appear. Hopefully. Because if it don't, there'll be some horrible grinding noises. It's so bloody small. The tolerances are sort of abysmal. Have to take it a bit at a time, and we'll wind it down a little further and then we'll tighten up again. That's the only problem working at the top of the stairs. If you drop a nut, it tends to go all the way down to the bottom. now going to repair the damage I did the last time I took the seat off or put the seat back. It's so easy to do. I suspect that every novice breaks them. So probably I would rather leave this until after I'd actually put the seat back. And it's a limit switch for the seat. But again, it's so awkward to get to that it's easy to replace it now. Here it is. So, well, hopefully you can see what's broken off. It's the plunger. The switch is broken. And it's not easy to track down one of these. The trick is to, first of all, we'll put the wires back. Now, I took them from the outside because it was, in this condition, normally closed. It's on the outside. And what we want is normally open when it's sort of, the plunger's out. We want it closed when it's operated. The idea behind that is that when the seat is in the correct position for going up and down, it's in the closed position and that will be depressed. Now, so I'll put the wires back on. At one point I did think I may have to find an alternative switch. Well, I could put this back on, put the seat back on and avoid the bit that knocks this off, put it back in a different position so that we avoid knocking that off. But I'd like to make sure on belt and braces, and I'm going to try putting a cable tie around here and sort of operating it so that it's out of the way. Sort of a belt and braces approach to it. Wow, that seems to work. So, barring accidents, I might be okay now. And then we just cut the tie and it'll pop into place. Now, we've now got to the stage where we can put the seat back on. I've the bit that's can break off, I've holding it back with a cap tie. This is the pivot pin for the seat, and this floats around. It resides in the base of the seat, but I have to leave it there like so. And if I don't line it up, it's going to cause me a bit of an headache. I did think about putting a bit of blue tack to hold it in position or something, but I don't really want to gum up the works because I won't be able to get it out again. Now, I'll show you what's causing the problem. This is the bottom of the seat, and if I put it square on as if you're riding up and down the lift, this is the pin that will damage the limit switch when you switch it on. Yeah, it'll knock the end of the thing off as you put the thing in. Almost, just punch it out. So if I move the seat off of its centre lock position,
and drop that in one of the other, this pin here, in one of the other holes, the lock in. But this is unlocked lock. We should avoid any problems. That's what I'm hoping. See how it goes.
Now, I'll try and drop it in on its 45 angle. Pin now. Nope. As you can see, it's and awkward. Right, we're almost there. That's good. I'm pleased with that. A very awkward job there. Yeah, it's was it 12? Yeah, it's a 12mm hex Allen key. And it has to be done up tight. Right. That's as tight as it'll go for me. Probably my knees in the way of sitting observing what's going on. See if it works now. That's good. Now, you may observe that I actually turned this knob downwards. Normally it's facing up, but amusingly, when we were transferring Dawn from wheelchair to stairlift, knickers kept on getting caught in on the knob. So I turned it upside down. I really should have done the same with that, but we sort of overcome our problems, and it's not an issue anymore. But I did think that maybe I'll have to engineer that and turn that up the other way. It's just one of those things. It does. If you're sliding somebody off, it's very. If you're sliding somebody off the chair, it's very awkward. There you go, that's done. Now the next one has got to go all the way up the arm and come out on the handle, which you probably can't see up here. And we've got to thread it all the way through, and that is a bit difficult. I'll show you how I've done that. I used to use the inner of an old Bowden cable to go through because it's nice and flexible, but I'm going to go fishing with the outer this time because I can't find it in a bit. Right, I'm going to stop there while I go and get a bit of tape to couple that up. What a pig's here. Alright, should be able to get it through. Right, let's pull through, get through the first section. Pull the cable through. Easy does it. Oh, and guess what? Right, we're going to try again. This time I've taken the stuff off and sticky off and put on a cap tie. It'll probably fall off, but it's worth a try. I like I get silly ideas, I like trying them out. That's off. That's through. Now all we've got to do is re-terminate the switch. There really isn't much to putting it back other than putting these connectors in the right place. Oh, famous last words, what are the right place? Here's where I should have taken a photograph. And, So, as I look at it, it's yellow on one side, blue in the middle. I'll find it. Oh, blue and red. Oh, that's obvious, isn't it? The commons are green on the other side. That's it. Don't have to do anything with the others. Just have to make sure it goes down the pipe okay. Put it back. Fit that nicely. Next in. Oh no. Let's do this one up. Right screwdriver. Sometimes it gets very infuriating. That's that one I've done up. Now I'm going to go find this screw down the stairs. Oh yeah, and of course I better show you that it works. On the switches on the wall, going down, coming up, and the switch on the handle, down, come up. Let's go. All good. Our drop down bar's going on first. I think you'll understand why. There you go. Right, I'll keep on getting a message saying I've got not much memory left. Quickly I will say, do this You have to put a bit of tension in the spring. I hope you can see the spring over here. You pull it up, twist it, fit it in so that the soft landing that way and flip up that way. I think that's the way I've done it. Because I'm running out of memory, I'm going to sort of shut the video down now.